Moki Kinzeka, who's on the ground. Moki, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the program.
It's always a pleasure joining you from Yaoundé.
So, Moki, disturbing scenes that have been playing out and frustrations being expressed by the youth. What's the atmosphere like in Yaoundé and across Cameroon today, from what you're hearing?
Well, it's a tense atmosphere in all over Cameroon, especially in towns like Banganti, Garoua, Kuseri, and the rest, where the youths are anxiously waiting, and there is a heavy deployment of troops all over. In fact, you cannot move without seeing troops. We were told last night that most of the troops were sent to Garoua. That is where Issa Chiruma Bakari lives. That is his hometown, because the youths are preparing, planning that if the elections are tampered with, then they will not accept this time around.
So, are more clashes expected during the course of today?
Well, after the clashes for the past 2 days, there is a little bit of calm now, because uh, people are advising that they should wait for the official proclamation of results before there are clashes. That maybe the government will be able to order that the verdict of the ballot be respected. But what is happening now, and what is happening new now, is that about 11 petitions have been deposited at the level of the Constitutional Council, asking for the total or partial cancellation of the election. So the Constitutional Council has latest the 26th of this month to rule on the petitions before proclaiming the results. So people are saying that since there are petitions of the cancellation of results, partially or totally, and since the ELECAM has not given the results, the crowd should wait, especially young people who are on strike. They should wait, they should hold on and see there may be some updates. They should not go to the streets now. Apparently, some people have been listening to, but there are still some anxious youth who think that Mr. Biya wants to be in power at all costs.
Tell me, the concerns that are being raised are that the figures and the tallies at the polling stations are not tying up with those that Elecam are publishing at head office. Is that what the situation is?
Yes, the issue is that the results collected from the polling stations are not the same results that Elecam seem to have. And with ICTs, with telephones, with the internet, it is difficult to hide things this time around. So the opposition parties really trained Cameroonian youths to gather the results with their phones from the polling station. Not that in Cameroon, when they're counting the results in the evening, everybody is there. So it was possible to gather them with telephones. They even had pictures of people stuffing ballot boxes, really stuffing ballot boxes. You went to some areas where about 300 people registered to vote in a polling station, and results coming out are indicating that more than 700 people vote. You go to villages where they're not up to 2,000 people, results coming out are showing that about 6,000, 7,000 people voted. So those are the issues that the parties are using to ask for the total cancellation of the results. Others are asking for the partial cancellation, thinking that in some areas, at least, the results were respected, but in the majority of places, the ballot boxes were stuffed and there was mass rigging in favor of President Paul Biya.
What is Elecam saying in terms of these discrepancies? And the government, has that spoken at all?
The government spokesperson, Rene Emmanuel Sadi, who is also Minister of Communication, has spoken. He said people should be calm. He's begging Cameroonians to exercise some what they calls patriotism. But people are reacting and saying that patriotism should not be synonymous to accepting wrong things that the government is doing. Also, Elecam, surprisingly, the chairperson of the Electoral Board of Elections Cameroon, Eno Abrams Egbe, surprisingly said the elections went on so well that the results are being assembled in Yaoundé. The National Commission for Vote Counting will be meeting to examine the results. So according to Elecam, everything went well in spite of all what people are complaining.
What sense do you get in terms of the feeling across the country? Are there beer strongholds, for example, or is there a general feeling across Cameroon that change is required now?
There is a general feeling across Cameroon that change is required. I mean, if you were to ask, I'm sure from polls that were conducted before elections, about 80 to 90% of Cameroonians think there should be a change. But Biya has also his following. Mostly they are government ministers, they are senior state functionaries who support him, and also his region of origin, that is the south region of Cameroon. Biya has a lot of following there. People say he actually won in his own region. But when you look at the votes from his own region, there are about 350,000 votes from the entire south region where Biya comes from. 350,000 from the over 8 million registered all over Cameroon is really comparatively very small. So people say even if you won all of the 350,000 votes, which is impossible because everybody will not be able to vote, he may not have won the elections in the country. So Biya has his supporters who are a minority who think that he should be there, but the majority of people from polls conducted by civil society groups think that it is time that there is a change in Cameroon. After 43 years that Biya has been in power, and his age also, 92, 93 years is really very old. So somebody like him, people say, should be instead from behind advising the ministers, advising the government on things to do instead of playing that role, which is very difficult for an old man like him.
I suppose there are many in Cameroon watching events that have played out in Madagascar recently, that played out in countries like Mozambique and Kenya. Is there a fear that if the result doesn't go the way that they hope, that there will be a Gen Z revolution in Cameroon?
If you look at what happened when there were protests and the role some of the military officials played is similar to what has happened out of here, where the military at times says, let us listen to the crowd. Maybe that these are our brothers and sisters. Why should we go shooting, killing? So when you saw some of the police people deployed, you saw some of the soldiers deployed actually communicating with the people, telling them that, okay, it is not time to go destroying things. It is time to protest, but please don't destroy the roads, don't burn property. These things are owned by all of us Cameroonians. The next generation will need the roads. The next president needs the roads and the public edifices. So there is Cameroonians are watching what is happening and are even communicating, telling others that look at what is happening in Madagascar, look at what is happening in especially Senegal, where a young man Faye won the election. He's about 40. They say, okay, this is a country that transitions democratically, that we could also do it here. But if it fails, then maybe the soldiers will be needed. That is what some people think. And then they think that some of the troops are now being very comprehensive, being very understanding because of the way they communicate with the crowds, with the protesters now.
Moki, we're going to leave it there. Thank you very, very much indeed for that update.
I'm grateful. Thanks very much.
That's one of our correspondents in Cameroon. He's in Yaoundé, the capital, Moki Kinzeka, giving us an update on the general sentiment across across Cameroon at the moment, and fears that the youth that are destroying infrastructure may continue if the current trends of vote tallies not tying up with those that were recorded at the polling stations continues. We'll keep on top of that story for you.